Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Earrings Off. We want to invite you to subscribe, rate, and leave us a review. You can find us on Facebook at Earrings Off Podcast and on Instagram at The Earrings Off Podcast.
Welcome to Earrings Off. I'm Lou.
And I'm Teresa. Let's get started.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Earrings Off. I'm Lou. Earrings Off, the podcast where we talk about all the things women care about, from health and wellness to relationships, finances, and everything in between.
That's right. We get real, we get loud, and yes, sometimes we even take our earrings off. I'm Teresa.
Well, I tell you, Teresa, I don't know about you, but I'm a little tired from that conference.
Well, Lou, I am tired, but yet I'm so full. I
Yeah.
love the opportunity to share with women and to serve them, really.
Yeah. Well, I
It
tell
was
you,
awesome.
for the sake of our audience, Teresa and I recently attended our church's annual Women's Day brunch. And I tell you, you're right, Teresa. I too was just full. It was just such an inspiring day. And to just be in the presence of so many women and to worship together and to fellowship together. Yeah, I'm tired, but I'm also energized
You're right. Yeah,
by the
I get that.
experience, you know?
You
So
minimized it a bit, Lou. Not only did we attend, but we were the planners.
I
We
know, I know. And so, folks, just so you know, see, Teresa and I take our skills from planning the Earrings Off conference that we've been doing every year. And this past year was the first time we've missed it since we've launched Earrings Off. But we're going to correct that this year. You'll hear more about that later. But anyway, we take all of the skills that we've developed through the years hosting these conferences for Earrings Off, and we give back to our church, our services and everything we've learned to put on a conference. So I tell you, it was just blessed, wasn't
it was absolutely blessed.
it? Yeah,
It was
yeah,
blessed. Everybody, I feel like the ladies really enjoyed themselves.
yeah, yeah,
Um, but
yeah.
what about that praise and worship leader,
Oh,
Lou?
I know.
She was
Danielle
amazing.
Elder, she was wonderful,
She was amazing.
wonderful. And Teresa, the segment that you did, that you facilitated on with the health panel, that was so good. It seems like the attendees really wanted a lot of information on how to stay healthy and how to live well. And so, that's your thing. So
Yeah,
great job. And
yeah.
I love the keynote address, which encouraged us to continue to have the faith,
Oh
particularly
gosh.
even in these times that we're in. And that's not always easy when we're being overwhelmed and bombarded with what's going on in the world. And you're sitting back going, what in the world? Just in disbelief. But we were reminded to keep pressing forward, and we were reminded of our people, where we come from, and the struggles we've endured, and how we've always triumphed. So it was just, it's good. Yeah.
It was great, and like it was blessed the way the way you said, or it was great. It
Yeah.
was great.
All right. So, folks, today's episode, if you're wondering what we're going to be talking about, let me tell you. Today's episode is for anybody who's ever asked that question, what am I supposed to be doing with my life? So now, if that's you, you might want to pull up a chair and have a seat for this one.
All right, now we're talking about purpose today. And not that I read one self-help book and now I'm a guru
Oh
kind of
no,
purpose.
that won't do it. That
That
won't do
won't
it.
do it.
Okay.
We mean the real, sometimes messy. Why am I here? And what the heck am I supposed to do with my life kind of purpose?
Exactly. And let's just be honest. This ain't something you can Google and get an answer for because trust me, I know that because I tried. But seriously, purpose is more like that thing you kind of forgot, but always knew deep down. It's more like remembering than discovering. It's more like uncovering something that was already there, but's been hidden, and you just gotta scrape away at it to get back to the essence.
Lou, you got me thinking. You got me thinking.
Mhm.
Okay, so you mentioned Google, but what about Chat GPT? Do you think
Uh,
I can Chat GPT my way to purpose?
no, you know what? You always trying to use that shortcut. No, that's not
Oh,
gonna
okay, it's
work.
deeper than that, huh?
It is definitely deeper than that. Now let's break it
Okay.
down.
Okay,
Purpose,
okay.
purpose is why you exist, why you are here. Passion is what lights you up. The sweet spot is when they overlap. It's when you're doing something that fuels you and serves others. Now, that's when you are really and truly living. That's the sweet spot.
I just had an aha moment.
Okay.
I experienced that today
You did
at the
during the
pet.
conference?
Yes, yes,
Pray
yes.
tell, pray tell. What happened?
Well, of course, you mentioned about me facilitating a
Yeah,
panel,
yeah.
and it was about health and wellness, um, mental and physical health. That felt amazing. It is
For,
something, it is
for you
some-
to facilitate that?
to be in the presence of the women, giving them um, this information, sharing with them,
Mhm.
answering their questions. Like I could do that. I could so do that for a living.
Wow, wow.
I
Okay.
so
Yeah.
purpose doesn't mean fame or fortune. Sometimes it means showing up for your kids, your community, right? Or
Hmm.
just being a safe place for someone else. Purpose doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. And
And
that's what I experienced. It
wow.
is.
Yeah, that's good stuff. And Teresa, I told you one time I interviewed for a job. And when I was trying to decide, is this is going to be a good fit for me? And so when I went through all of that and I prayed and I thought about it and I accepted, I was offered and accepted the position. And when I got there and I did at this time I was a Child Protective Services hearings officer. And after I did my first hearing concerning, child abuse and all of that, I got a vision in my head of a fish in water.
Mm,
And because at that moment, when you said you had an aha moment, that's what I felt in my spirit. Like
mm.
I was like a fish that was in water. That was my natural environment. And I didn't struggle. It just felt like what I was supposed to be doing. Because,
Okay. Lou, can I,
mhm,
before you go on?
yeah.
Okay, so don't get mad at me, but you live that every day. You like officiating and telling people what to do.
You know what, Teresa? I ain't mad at you because you know what? You speak the truth. And I tell people it's funny you say that because this is true. This might be too much transparency, but I tell my family and friends when you're little, when you're young and you're trying to figure out, do I want to be a teacher or do I want to be a lawyer or do I want to be, a firefighter? All of those things, honestly, the only thing I ever knew, I didn't care what the profession would be. I didn't care what the title was. The only thing I ever cared about was if there was a boss, I wanted it to be me. That's
Okay.
all. That's
Okay.
all.
You living a dream, sis.
I was like, and I don't know whether that's because of my background. I didn't know enough. I mean, I didn't have a lot of professionals around me growing up. So it's not like I had role models that I could say, I want to do that. So I didn't
Oh,
have a
yeah.
title. But the only thing I knew was that at the end of the day, I would be at the top of the hierarchy. That's true. It's so sad. It's so sad. But and yeah, I got to live the dream. Teresa, okay, but listen
Okay.
now.
Okay.
Okay, so we're digressing.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
again, purpose doesn't have to be loud, like you say, or to be powerful. And just because you're good at something doesn't mean it's your purpose. But in my case, I'm actually good at telling people what to do, but that's just my opinion. Okay, but another thing that I know I'm good at is singing, Teresa, but that doesn't mean I was born to be CC Winans
Okay.
because you know how they treat me in the church. They won't even let me turn my mic on. So, but I know I can sing, and I know there are a lot of haters in the choir.
No, no, wait, Lou. That is just cold. That's wrong. I
They
mean, I
hate.
mean, see, that's why folks get discouraged in church. But
Yeah,
I
because it's
digress.
yeah,
You
because
know, as I say that though, Lou, is it a case of it's just you and you don't hear yourself?
no, it's not that. It's not that. I actually have a beautiful voice.
You
I
do,
mean,
you
you know
do. I'm
what?
just kidding.
Okay,
I'm
so
just kidding.
there are a lot of haters in the church, Teresa. That's just, it's God's house, but there were haters in there. Okay?
So how do you start figuring out your purpose? Okay. We need to recognize some clues, right? So
hmm
first, pay attention. What energizes you? What do you do that makes time fly? What burdens your heart in a way that makes you want to fix it? And Lou, for me, it is. It is health and
Wow.
wellness, nutrition specifically. I can read about it and talk about it for days.
I know.
And time
And
flies.
and sometimes you actually do talk about it for days. You talk about it a lot. I mean, a lot.
You remember when you called me? I think you're a one-trick pony.
I mean, because it's like, well, Patricia, you said something now, though.
Oh,
What
okay.
burdens your heart in a way that makes you want to fix it? Now, that's a
Mm.
clue.
That is a clue.
Yeah,
That is
yeah,
a clue, but it's when it comes to nutrition and how trying to fix it for people.
yeah,
Ooh, that's hard.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, yeah. Well, you know what? Those are clues. Passion leaves breadcrumbs. Follow them. I knew I was on the right path when I realized I kept coming back to empowering women or, taking leadership roles in every job, in every conversation, every volunteer gig. It's always there. Even, Teresa, if I go into an organization and I'm not that person, people start pushing me toward that. And so I just think that that's naturally what people see in me. I'm naturally a
Hmm.
supportive person, and I am one that sort of likes to get in there and to lead. But one thing I've always wanted is, I can lead and not get the attention for leading. I can do the task. I don't need you to call me out or make a big deal out of it. I just want us to do well, and I want everyone to win.
Yeah, that's the truth, Lou. That is the truth.
Yeah.
And we should not ignore what we're drawn to, even if it at the time doesn't make sense to us,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Maybe your passion doesn't come with a 401k, and I can attest to that, right? But it does feed my soul.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
that matters. That
It
absolutely matters.
it absolutely matters. And I tell you, for me, I used to think purpose had to be this dramatic, movie-worthy moment, like a light beaming down from the sky with a booming voice saying, Lou, this is your purpose.
Oh, those acting classes are really coming into play right now.
So you're welcome. Okay. I wish we'd have a budget for me to actually do more, but alas, that's not our stories.
Okay, but instead, it was probably a quiet, persistent feeling, right? Like,
Yeah.
hey, girl, you've got more in you.
And that's exactly. And listen, if you're still trying, if you're still figuring it out, you're not behind. Some folks are out here doing things they don't even like just to impress people they don't even know. How
Mm-hmm.
sad is that?
Mm. Girl, you said something right there. You're in somebody's business right now. Pass the collection plate.
I'm telling you, and stand down haters. But I tell you, let's leave everyone with a few ways to start exploring your purpose.
Hmm.
You can journal, even if it's messy. Ask, what makes me feel most alive? And it's your journal, your conversation. So you don't even have to fix it up and make it look pretty. Answer the question honestly.
Right,
Try
right.
new things. Purpose shows up when you move, not when you're stuck overthinking. And you know, Teresa, you and I had a conversation with a friend recently where she tried something new that she didn't think she wanted to do, and she's actually enjoying it.
Hmm.
So I love that purpose shows up when you move. So try new things, talk it out, get around people who ask good questions and speak life into you. Folks who notice what you are doing or engaging in when you seem to come alive. And Teresa, you're right with that panel. That's what I saw with you. You were energized, you were in your element. And I thought, is that Teresa? Is that Oprah up there? I'm trying to figure out.
Woo! You
Yeah.
are my best friend.
But I'm telling you, so you do. You
Thank
have to be
you.
around people who can notice things like that. And they
Mhm.
can then make sure you're aware of how you're presenting and the energy they're seeing and the vibe they're getting from you when you're in that moment. Look at your life themes. Now, this is so true. I'm telling you, and I have experienced this. What do people always come to you for?
Mm.
What seems to be the magnet that draws folks to you? Is there a common theme that people keep coming to you for? And Teresa, you and I, you know, I have a friend who is a fantastic decorator, and I saw that in her. And it was
Mm-hmm.
like, you may
Mm-hmm.
not have credentials in it, you may not have gone to school for it, but let me tell you something. That
Mm-hmm.
is your thing. That's what I
Mm-hmm.
see.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to take a moment and look at all of that. That will help us in terms of learning our purpose.
And Lou, you can't be afraid to pivot. Purpose isn't always one big thing. Sometimes it evolves. You grow, and so does your calling.
Well, and I tell you, earrings off, listeners, here's your challenge of the week. Take 10 minutes and answer this. What did you love to do as a child before anyone told you what you should be doing? And you know, when we think back to being children, there were things that we loved, but for whatever reason, time and other responsibilities, other distractions, or maybe folks sort of poo-pooing what our thing was and discouraging us. Um, think back to those times and try to remember, what did you love to do as a child? What was it?
Lou, that's good stuff because purpose often shows up where joy and curiosity lived before fear, expectations, and judgment moved in.
Judgment. We're always being told, often being told what we should be doing. And sometimes when we're told what we should be doing, it's not lining up with what we want to be doing, you
Mhm.
know? So that's a wrap on today's episode of Earrings Off. Don't forget, your purpose doesn't have to be perfect, it just has to be real.
Subscribe, share this episode with a friend who needs it, and leave us a review. We'd love to hear what makes you come alive. Until next time.
Take those earrings off and do the work.
That's right, sis.
Take good care.